Welcome back to the fields of Perthshire. Well, we're in a new location today. I'm not able to show you any of it because it's a secret, but it's a beautiful bit of parkland next to a very long established grand home that traces its roots back to the Jacobean period, to the 1540s, 1550s. And who knows, maybe a little bit older. Now it's a little bit breezy. As you can see, it's a grass parkland. It's got big mature trees, and I have got high hopes of Georgian, Victorian, and who knows, maybe even older. So fingers crossed, let's see what we can find. And it's just me today, along with the owner. So hopefully we've got something good to find. Let's see how we get on. Well, just a minute in and we've found our first signal. Very close to a big mature tree. 58, 59. Could be a button, but I think it could also be a bit of tin foil. But we'll give it a bash and see what happens. Well, that's a shame. It was actually right on the surface under the leaves. It was a tea light for a candle. But better luck next time. Right underneath the tree, a weak sort of 52, 53 produces a little button. It's quite crudely made, copper alloy, but it's going to have a bit of age to it. It's probably going to be at least 200 years old, but it could be 300, who knows, but it's a start. Okay, I don't want to get our hopes up, but we could have a coin in the first couple of minutes. A very consistent 86, which is definitely within the realms of a penny. Only one way to find out. We have a coin. See right here? Now that is green and circular. What a great start. I had high hopes for this place. And it looks like we've got George V. More importantly, it's in fantastic condition, so that bodes well for any other finds that we get. So I'll give this a little clean up off camera and get right back to you, but what a great start. Look at the beautiful patina on that coin. So that's George V, by the grace of God, King of the Britons, Defender of the Faith and Emperor of India. And on the back, 1 penny. Britannia seated, and you can see the date 1917, so in the final 2 years of the Great War. Brilliant. And George V's older brother died during an influenza outbreak in the 1890s, and he's the one who's often attributed as being Jack the Ripper in London. There's an interesting fact. Victor Albert, or Albert Victor, was his older brother's name. And upon his death, George V became the future king, which he became in 1910. Excellent. Okay, we've come under a very mature big old tree, and we've got a screamer here, which is a 93-94. It's within the realms of silver. It's also within the realms of a Georgian copper, or dare I say, aluminium. So let's see what we get. Well, disaster. So much for me and my silver or Georgian. It's a spendable 2 pence, and it'll be Queen Elizabeth II. It's probably less than 30 or so years old, unfortunately, but at least you can take that down to the shops and buy yourself something nice. Okay, I was wrong last time, but we've got a pretty solid 87. Maybe we get a coin this time. Sorry about the wind noise if there is any. It's pretty blowy. Alas, not to be. I thought it was maybe a great big lump of silver, but unfortunately I think it's some sort of aluminium or some sort of alloy for metal work or for melting metal. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, immediately next to that, another signal. 84, 85. I suppose it could be another of the same thing, but we'll give it a go anyway and see. Maybe it's a coin. Alas, again, another little bit of sort of melted metal of some description, so someone must have been doing a bit of metal work in here at some point. Well, I haven't been very good in my predictions so far with coins and such like, but I'm filming this one because it's a 1991. It's a lovely tone, and you can see it's kind of nestled in between tree roots, so here's hoping for a big Georgian coin, or maybe even a silver, definitely not aluminium. Well, do you see what I see? I was right. Right there is a coin, but is it another spendable? It is. I don't believe it. It's a 1p piece, so we're on 3p spendable. Hope get that in shot. 1 penny, and again it's Queen Elizabeth II. Don't know if we'll get a date off this one. I can't see a date. No, can't see a date for some reason. Oh no, I can, there it's there. 1980, I think it's 1985. 1985, so there we go. We've made 4.5p. No, 4p should I say, 4p, and 3 of them are spendable. This signal was a bit iffy. It was in the 7071. Great big tree root here. It was actually underneath the tree root, and we've got a button, but it's a nice button. It's you can see the loop on the back. I've actually lost my toothbrush, otherwise I would give it a proper clean, but it's probably going to be a maker's mark on the back. You can see traces of gold gilding, and on the other side it's another one of these patchwork type of buttons that I've had before. It's almost like the crisscrosses of a blanket, and if I remember rightly, someone told me this is Georgian, George III, which is sort of 1760 to 1820, which would be nice. If it is, that would be the oldest thing we've had so far. So again, let us know in the comments below, but it's been gold gilded. You can see it just shining on the edges, and this might clean up a little bit better. Maybe we'll get a maker off it, which would be great. Brilliant. Not very far away from the button, we've got another nice signal. 84, 83, definitely. Definitely within the realms of a button. Sorry, a coin even. Well, not what I was hoping for. It's some sort of threaded nut, or should I say bolt, not nut. Oh, dropped it. But yeah, unfortunately, it's junk. Okay, we've got to have a coin this time. 85, 86, ear-blowing signal, fingers crossed. My only concern was the size of the signal. It did seem a little bit big, and that is a massive big sheet of lead. It's probably an old offcut of roofing lead. It looks like it's been folded over in two, and it's lead, so you can bend it with your fingers, but I suspect that's an old piece off the roof. So I suppose you can always sell that. You maybe get about 50p. But not quite a coin, but we keep on hunting. Well, this one didn't sound like a coin. It was in the low 60s, but there we go. And I think it might not be a spendable, which would be nice. Going by the colour, I was going to say George VI, and I think it is. It is, it's George VI. Maybe a ship's halfpenny? Oh, it's not, it's silver. Well, technically it's silver, but it's not really, because it's got a date of 1948, and they debased silver coins in 1947. So it's a shilling, which would have been silver 1 year earlier, and then it's turned into, I think it's copper and nickel, or cupra nickel it's called. So it doesn't contain any silver. So if only we'd got this a year earlier, it would be 50%, but when it was made, this would be bright silver in colour, but in the ground it's gone a bit brown. I'll give it a little rub on my jumper and get back to you. It's as close as we've got to silver so far. George VI, by the grace of God, King of the Britons, and then on the other side we've got Fid Def Ind Imp, Defender of the Faith and Emperor of India. Now what's interesting is 1948, I'm sure India got its independence in 1947, which asks the question, why is it on a coin from 1948? Maybe this is incredibly rare and worth a fortune. So I don't know, we'll need to look into that one, but let us know in the comments below. So this is George VI. He was the Queen Elizabeth II's father. He should never have been king because his older brother Edward VIII took the throne, but only lasted 9 months because he gave up the throne to marry Wallis Simpson, the American divorcee. And he's immortalised in a film called The King's Speech because he had a very terrible stutter. And he also married a woman not far away from here at a place called Glamis, who was called the Queen Mother, Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon. And Glamis, or Glamis as some people would call it, on the east coast of Scotland, or on the eastern side of Scotland, is still the home of the Bowes-Lyon family today. It's been their family home for 800 years. Fantastic. Well, not quite solid silver, but it'll do. I think we've got a double signal here. I've cleared off the surface, but it's still underground. So this one's an 83, and that one's not so good. It's a 71.69. So let's go with the 80. Well, I might have stopped that recording a wee bit early, but I think we've got we've actually got writing on it. I think this is a can for the lid off of fish. Got some writing. What does it say? To pier. Don't know what that says. Top ear edge. Nope. Not sure. I think it is. I think it's the lid off of a. Oh no, maybe not. It might actually be a plate off of a tractor or something. Piece of machinery. We'll need to give that one a proper clean up. Might even be a little diagram on there. Remove something. Remove tire. Remove tire something. Who knows? Agricultural, I think. But we'll have a look at that one later. Well, the one that didn't sound good is the one that actually turned out to be the better find. Not sure what this is. It looks like it's had a little sort of hinge or something, or an attachment on that end. You can see it's got these double hooks. I don't know if it is a clog clasp or if it's maybe a little hinge off of an old book. I have to defer to all of you to give me the answers to that one, but I think it's got a bit of age to it. It looks like it's been in the ground for 100+ years, and it's copper alloy. So let me know on that one on the comments below. Okay, we've got an ear blower at the moment. 94 to 96. I mean, that sounds like silver all day long, but it could be the dreaded aluminium. I've got a very excited owner right next to me who's hoping for a silver, so let's see. Okay, well, we've got a coin. You can see the clod, and right there is something circular, but it doesn't look silver. It actually could be a spendable. Surely it is not a 2p piece. Such a high reading. Right, what is that? Doesn't look like a 2p. What is that? Oh, it is. That is Elizabeth II. It's not a 2p, so maybe a 10p. It is a 2p. I don't believe it. How is that signal so high? Oh, what a disaster. Look at the condition of it. It's pretty awful considering it's a relatively new coin. 1975, I think is the date, or 76, one or the other. And you can just about make out Elizabeth II looking to the right. What a disaster. I was sure that was going to be a silver coin. Oh well. Right, sure, you've got 5 spendable pennies now. That'll buy you half a packet of crisps. Okay, we're under a very old mature tree. It looks like a, don't know if it's is it an ash tree?
Beach, I think.
Is that a beech? Oh, you're right, it is, it's a beech. It's a beech. But under the beech tree, we've got a bit of an erratic 78, 77. Could be lead, could also be copper, I suppose, but we'll give it a bash. Oh, there we go, we've got an old relic. It's either a very big pistol shot or it's a very small musket shot. But that's from an old sort of percussion flintlock type pistol or musket. So the first firearms in Scotland were recorded around the 1380s, and I would guess date-wise this could probably be 16, 17, and at the very latest probably into the very beginning of the 1800s, so it's going to be at least 200 years old. It could be 300 or 400 years old. So maybe from a famous battle, or maybe just someone firing from the big house, because you can actually see the top window a couple of 100 metres away, so maybe someone just trying to shoot a deer, but we'll never know. I thought I'd record this just to embarrass myself again, but it's a very nice 91 to 93, but not quite so good that way. Alas, I think we've got the dreaded bottle cap, but it's gold. Just not the kind of gold we were looking for. Have we got a name, a maker, anything? We don't, it's just a plain old gold bottle tap, milk bottle top. Probably 50, 100 years old or so, but you've got to dig them. We moved up onto this kind of grass terrace. I had a really weak 71, almost didn't dig it, but decided because it's been quiet for the last 15 minutes, we'll give it a go. It's a good depth, probably about 8 inches down, and we've got ourselves a little shoe buckle. So that, I believe, is going to be George III, if not earlier. So 1760, 1820, but it could be into the early 1700s, dare I say, even the late 17th century. I'd be interested to hear, but yeah, I'm pretty certain that that's a shoe buckle. It's got that curve to it, so it would have sat on the sort of upper part of your foot in your shoe before laces. Brilliant, that's a really good find, and great that it picked it up at depth as well. But yeah, could be over 300 years old. Might even be the oldest find we've had yet. Again, I hate to tempt fate, but that's a brilliant signal. Could be a coin. 86, 87. Singing like a canary. Well, I got it wrong again. Shock horror. It's some sort of tractor machinery related piece. A little bracket or something that's snapped. But otherwise, junk, unfortunately. Well, I wish I could show you the view, but I don't want to give away our location, so you're not getting to see it. But we've got a low 80s, relatively shallow, probably just a couple of inches under the surface, but we're on this little path that's very popular with the sheep, so they're churning it up. And we've got a musket ball, but this one is a big one, a very big one. It's almost about as big a musket ball as you get, and that's probably going to be sometime 16, 17, into the very beginning of the 1800s, made of lead. But nice find. That's a potential pistol and a potential musket ball in the same day. Excellent. We've not had any decent signals for a while. This one was low 70s, and just there is what I think is a big coin. God, it looks like a really big coin if it's a coin. It's a funny colour, it's brown, so I think it's probably going to be George VI, but it could even be Elizabeth actually. Oh, I think it's a whopper, it's a half a crown. It's a half a crown, but I think again it's 1959, so this would have been solid silver previously, so it's going to be Elizabeth II. And there she is. They always go, her coins and her father's coins always go this brown way in the soil round here. But you can see Elizabeth II, De Gratia, what have we got? De Gratia Regina. So Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. And you can see her head looking to the right hand side. So this is pre-decimal. Decimalisation was 1970s if I remember right. And you can see ER. Give it a wee rub on the sleeve. I've forgotten my toothbrush, or I've lost my toothbrush, should I say. So Fid Def, Defender of the Faith. And you can just make out half a crown, 1959. And the big shield in the centre, you've got the Lion of Scotland, you've got the 3 Lions of England, and you've got the Harp of Ireland. Brilliant! Well, it's not silver. We were hoping for silver, but so far it's eluded us. But still, nice to get a coin after a bit of quietness. This one was in the low 70s, and I think this is some kind of buckle or belt fitting, maybe. That would be, you know, for a fabric or a leather belt would pass through there. You can see it's broken. It's a little bit flimsy. I don't have any means of cleaning it out, so I'm just going to leave it like that just now in case it was to fall apart. But it's got this beautiful design. Date wise, I'm not really sure. I'm going to say maybe 1850, 1900 sort of era. But I'll be interested to know what you all think and how old you think that could be. But it's a very nice thing. Hopefully that will clean up quite nicely. So that is a very good find. We're really happy with that. Fantastic. So we'll come into this wooded area because there's some really big mature trees, and got a 76, which was not the best of signals, to be honest. It's difficult to dig because of all the tree roots. However, I think we've hit milled silver. Look at that right there. From a depth of probably only 5 inches or so, we have got what looks like a silver coin. And the homeowner is
very excited.
Very excited.
Yes,
I think we've got a little milled coin. Could even be like a
Elizabethan,
Gavilimus or something. I can't even tell. It's quite thin. Oh, I don't believe it. It is Elizabethan. That's another hammered coin.
Yes, it's an Elizabethan.
That is a hammered silver coin. Well, it could be Elizabethan. It could be James, I suppose. It could be James VI as well. But there we go. I'm going to have to get the spray bottle out for this one. This is the first time we've had to do this today. So let's see. Reveal yourself.
Oh, so exciting.
The soil's quite stuck on there. Oh, it's a beauty. Look at that. You can read all of the letters. That is a beautiful coin. Look at that. That's wonderful.
Very, very lovely.
That is wonderful. Now, who is it? Is it James? It's Elizabeth. It's Elizabeth the First. Look, Elizabeth. Elizabeth. Elizabeth the First of England. So she was never King of Scotland. Her cousin Mary was King of Scotland, and then later Mary's son James, James VI. That is fantastic. Might actually have a hole in it just there. Or is that just... might have a hole in it. Does it go all the way through? No, I don't think it does actually. Oh, it's got a date. 15. 1561. 1561. How old's your lintel? 1540.
42.
1542. So the oldest known date of this house existing is 1542. So this is 19 years later. Well, that is fantastic. Right, I'm going to give this a wee clean up off camera and get back to you once it's dried out. But that is a silver coin. I think it's a sixpence. Fantastic. Well, I'm standing next to a very happy property owner. This was always the dream, to find something from the age of the earliest known house, which, as we say, was from the 1542?
Yeah.
1542, so we're 19 years later. And we've got on the back, Posve Deum, and then apologies for butchering the Latin language, Divittore Meu, which means I have made God my helper. And on the back we've got a shield which is split into four. Top right and bottom left are the three lions of England. Top left and bottom right is worn, but it would be the fleur-de-lis, the three flowers of the lily of France. Because from the 1350s, 1380s, right through to the French Revolution, the kings and queens of England, and then later of Great Britain, always maintained that they were the rightful kings of France. It's part of the reason why England and the United Kingdom was at war with France so often. But unsurprisingly, when the Revolution happened and they chopped Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette's heads off, suddenly the United Kingdom didn't want the job as monarch, which kind of makes sense. But you can see the date, 1561, and that is a beautiful coin. I think it's a sixpence. It's a little bit small maybe, but I think it's too big to be a threepence, but let me all know what you think. And on this side we have got Elizabeth DG de Gracia, ANGFRAETHIB Regina. So that's Elizabeth, by the grace of God, Queen of England, France and Ireland. And you can actually see her bust. There's her crown, there's her nose, she's looking to the left, and there's a little rose to the right hand side, which I think is the mint mark for the Tower of London. So this coin would have been minted potentially in London. It looks like someone's tried to pierce a couple of holes in it, but they don't go all the way through. So possibly it was going to be worn on a string, but that is a beautiful coin. Famously, Elizabeth had her own cousin, Mary Queen of Scots, executed, which was after holding her captive for 20 years in England. She finally signed the death warrant in 1587, if I remember rightly. But her son James VI was to have the last laugh. He was already King of Scotland, and when Elizabeth died without children, James VI of Scotland in 1603 became James I of England, and he ruled till 1625. So that is fantastic, beautiful coin. I'm absolutely delighted that we found this. So there you go, there's a little coin for you.
Oh, exciting!
Fantastic. So we searched that whole area and nothing else, not another signal other than iron all over the place. We've come into the field next door, got a very nice sounding 86, 87, and I think I've just found a house. I've got the front door keys for someone's property. So there you go, a beautiful hammered silver coin, and also the keys to a house. Maybe we'll claim ownership. Well everyone, that is me, and what a successful day that has been. We've done about four and a half hours. I think we got 7 coins, including 3 spendables. I would love to show you the view from here, because this is me up at the big manor house. This is part of the parkland that we went through earlier on. You can see there's some quite big mature trees, 150, maybe even pushing towards 200 years old. But I've not even scratched the surface. I mean, I'd be surprised if I've covered 1 or even 2% of the land that's available, so I'm sure that there is going to be more to be had. But I've got one very happy homeowner who is delighted with the history that we've unearthed, so she will follow all the necessary requirements for reporting the coin, and hopefully she'll get to keep it, and she will have a brilliant display, or the start of a display that tells more of the history of the property and the land, and that makes me a happy man. So thank you all for watching. If you don't already, hit the follow button, the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next dig, which may or may not be back here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.